Hello and welcome to Trojans Live, presented by Monster Energy on ESPN LA 710 across the USC Trojans Media Network. It is great to be back with you for our little spring six-pack of shows, and I've got the usual cast of characters with me. The All-American Sean Cody, but now award-winning broadcaster, Southern California Sports Radio Analyst of the Year, Sean Cody. It's a long title, but we're going to have to say the whole thing.
Yeah, it's a long title, but it's because of our team, guys. I'm a team guy first,
totally.
And there's no way I got this award without a great supporting crew behind the scenes and up here with us.
Exactly. Cody Kessler, anything you want to add to your title?
I didn't win the offseason awards, but no.
Just our quarterback. And, of course, our head coach, Lincoln Riley, who heads into his fifth season in charge here at USC. USC's head coach interview is presented by iTrust Capital, the official crypto platform of the USC Trojans. Coach, how's your offseason been?
It's been good. It's excited to finally be back out at spring. You know, we're starting spring practice a little bit earlier this year, which is great. I think the guys have had a nice 6 to 7 week run here of off season, and it's great to be getting out on the field, especially when you've got a large majority of your roster here like we do. So many new players with obviously the big high school class that we signed, some transfer portal guys. So we're eager to get out there and go to work.
Coach, always a ton of things to work on in spring. I'm sure there's a long list with each player who has stuff to work on. But as a team, when you look at the whole objective of this spring, what are you trying to get accomplished this spring?
Well, it'd be hard to not start, I think, defensively and on special teams too. I mean, we've obviously, made some staff changes in those areas. There'll certainly be some carryover from what we've done previously, but there's certainly going to be some new as well on both sides of the ball there. And so, yeah, I mean, I think our guys getting settled in with Coach Patterson, the way we're going to communicate the system. Again, there is going to be certainly some carryover. It's not just a start from scratch, but
still got to tackle the ball guy, right?
That part they say still matters. Yeah. So I think that's obviously going to be a big focus point. I think, the special teams, which obviously affects all parts of the game with Coach Eckler coming in, teaming up with Coach Doherty. Excited about some of the things that we're doing there, and that'll be a big point of emphasis throughout the spring. And then I think, it's, 30 new high school players here. You add your transfer portal guys in. I mean, I think you're starting to form your team, and what your team's going to be, the mentality that team has, the identity of that team. Like this is when it's going to form, and I think it's a huge advantage for us. A lot of us coaches, I don't know if there's anybody in our room that's ever had a spring practice where we've had as many players actually here. I mean, there's such a huge portion of our rosters here. Even though we signed a big high school class, and majority of them were midterm. And so, and obviously same way with the transfers. And so we just have just about everybody here, pretty close. And so I think we'll have a pretty good idea of what we have, what we are, maybe more than you would in previous springs when maybe, only 80% of your roster's there for spring.
Yeah. Coach Jade Maava obviously played really well last year. He's going to be one of the top returning starting quarterbacks in college football this upcoming season. This is his third year in this system, in your offense. What does that next step look like for Jaden in 2026?
Yeah, I mean, this is historically for guys that have played that position for us. This has historically been a really good year, and a really productive year. And so, yeah, I think it's going to be kind of that, just those next steps in all the areas that he showed growth at throughout last year. He did improve a ton. I mean, he was a much different player for the year than he was in the previous year when he started the last 4 games. And I think, we'll expect a similar jump. And I think that's very, very reasonable. Now he's going to have, a new supporting cast, a lot in large part due to the pass catchers, right? That's the area I think offensively that will be the most different. And so he's going to have to do a good job of learning those guys. But having his experience, having all the offensive line back, the running backs, I mean, that's a great place to start, and there is so much continuity and competition within those groups that I think it's going to allow Jaden and our quarterbacks to really focus in on our receivers and tight ends and make sure we're doing a good job of getting in sync with those guys.
You're listening to the head coach, Lincoln Riley, on Trojans Live. And, Coach, as you said, the big storyline of spring is a new defensive coordinator comes in, and it's a name that pretty much everyone knows. I mean, this is a Hall of Fame name in Gary Patterson. How did you end up there as him as the selection?
Well, I tried to hire him 2 years ago, and he wasn't totally ready at that point. He's anybody that gets to know Gary. I mean, he's a all in or all out type of guy. There's no halfway. And I think he was interested in the job 2 years ago, but I think just where he wasn't ready to commit to it like he knew he was going to have to commit to it. And he was just in a very different place this time. And so we had some good conversations initially, and I made it a part of a bigger process and talked to, again, I know we kind of talked before, there were so many people that wanted this job, which was awesome. It was a fun process to go to, but ultimately, got back to him and just, I think he just checked the boxes on what we felt like we needed in this program right now. I feel like our team, I feel like our defense we're very set up to be elite there right now. Period. But I think having the right guy there at the front of the room, to help, I think, kind of bridge that gap was important. I think a guy that had sustained defensive success over a long period of time, sure, with a lot of different skill sets. Oftentimes, not the best skill sets in terms of the people he was competing against. And I think having that guy that's been used to being at the front of the room and really has a presence and can command, in front of the defensive room, the defensive staff. It was tough to overlook that. And then, I told a lot of people I've been able to call plays against a lot of people that most would consider the great defensive minds of this era. And our guy, Coach Patterson, doesn't take a backseat to anybody. And the challenge that his defenses were year in and year out, I just never really faced anything much like that, in my opinion. So, yeah, I just think it made sense for so many reasons, and I think the confidence that we have that, he's going to be a big part of helping us take that next step defensively, because the time to be elite there is now. I mean, it is. We have it. We have what we need to have. We've made some really nice improvements here in the last few years, but it's time to be great, and I think Coach Patterson brings that. He brings that edge and that mentality and that experience that's tough to find.
Coach, you talked a little bit about objectives, and that, sometimes that can be behind the scenes. You talking with your staff and what you guys want to get done for spring. What's the messaging to the players this year? Obviously, you said you got some guys coming back and a ton of new faces. What's kind of the messaging for spring?
I think the time is now, and I think we've shown our players. Kind of our starting point right now and where we're at and kind of where we've been the previous few years, what we return, the experience that we've gained. Like we're teed up to have a really good football team, period. Now we're going to have to do a good job of bridging the gap between, the players that we return, which is a really strong nucleus. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of young/new players in this program, so we've got to do a good job of bringing those people together. But I really feel like I really feel like that we're very teed up to have a phenomenal year, and I feel that on all three sides. I feel it with the staff, and so I think it's us, just really embracing this opportunity. Like, understand what we have. We got to go earn it. We got to go get it. But the opportunity is there, and I think everybody in our building feels that right now.
Coach, going into year 3 in the Big Ten Conference, in my opinion, the toughest conference in college football right now, what have you learned, or what's the most important thing you've learned about what it takes to compete and be successful in this conference?
I think I still go back to the competitive depth in this conference, especially on the lines of scrimmage. But, I mean, honestly, really everywhere. I mean, you play good teams every week. You play teams that have good players, have NFL players, have good coaches. You play good teams here in the Coliseum. You go on the road, and you're going to play in big-time venues. And the challenges are just there every week. And I think if you've got any holes – in terms of your team or the depth, that tends to show up just because these are heavy hitter, big boy games week in and week out. Then you add in, some of the travel challenges and just all that exists. Like you just got to be at your best every single week. And so, I think I felt a big difference in our team from year 1 in the Big Ten to this last year in terms of competitive depth. And I think that largely served us very well. And I do feel like, this team this year, at least on paper, we haven't been on the field yet, but on paper, I would be very disappointed if our competitive depth doesn't take a big step from what it was, 12 months ago. Yeah. And so I feel like we're ready to do that and ready to take that next step. But you're right. It's a great conference. It's a fun conference. I mean, playing these teams, the places we're going, the teams that are coming into the Coliseum. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, this year's going to be fun.
It's unbelievable. I mean, that's as a competitor, man, like that's what you do this for. I love it.
You're listening to head coach Lincoln Riley on Trojans Live. Coach, you have this incredible freshman class coming in. What are reasonable expectations for them in year one? Are there certain positions in your history as a coach where freshmen can make an impact right away, and then others that maybe take a little longer?
I think historically, yes, but there's always exceptions to that. I mean, the lines of scrimmage are always a little bit tougher. It seems like O-linemen at times have a little bit longer path to the field sometimes than the defensive front, although playing anywhere in the front seven as a true freshman. I mean, this guy right here knows it's a war in the trenches at this level.
I got knocked around my freshman year. I don't know what was happening.
It is a grown person game.
Yeah.
But this group, I like their mentality. I mean, they've come in, they've worked. We've really pushed with this group that if all this group, or if the number one thing that this group is known for after their time at SC is, they were a part of the number one recruiting class, then we missed the boat here, right? Like, I mean, the hell with that. Like, it's all about being, the most impactful class that you can be for this football program. And I think, whether it's an impact here in the first year, impacting the team positively, whether it's guys that are obviously playing meaningful snaps on a Saturday, or it's guys that are developing behind the scenes and helping your team on scout team and getting your other guys ready. Like, you just want to be really, really valuable. And I think we have a lot of guys that want to do that. They certainly they've come in with the humility to learn what we're doing, but also, at least up to this point, they don't seem like they're just going to walk in and take a back seat either, which is what you want. You want that competitive edge of guys that want to contribute right away, but they know they have the humility to understand they got a lot of work to go get that done, and they haven't proven anything at this level yet. And so, the group's had a good mentality. It's going to be fun to get out with those guys in spring, but there's a lot of body types. There's a lot of mindsets that you look at, and it's not hard to imagine them helping us sooner rather than later.
Coach, I haven't seen you in a couple months. The tan looks phenomenal, looks great on you. Coach, how did Coach Riley hit the reset this offseason? I know you're a big family guy, out taking the girls out. What was the reset like?
Yeah, we were able to, January's pretty busy. January, strangely, the season ends. I tell people, I don't know if they believe me. I think you actually get busier through the month of January just with all that's going on with recruiting and roster stuff and staff, and they're just January's busy. February was a good time where we found a couple of long weekends to get our staff out, get our coaches out who hadn't had a break in a while. So I was able to get away with my wife and daughters for a little bit, which was good, and a good reset, and came back refreshed and ready for spring.
And tan.
Back to work here for spring football, and then on to a huge fall coming up. I can't wait. We're already counting the days to it. But thank you for taking the time with us. We'll use these 6 shows to get some of your new coaches on here, some of your new players, and we've got King Miller coming up next. We know King, but coming off a huge season last year. Ready to take it to the next level? Unleash the beast this college tailgate season with Monster Energy. Tear into a can of the meanest energy drink on the planet. Monster Energy. Unleash the beast. And Trojans Live is sponsored by Pechanga Resort Casino, a proud partner of USC football. King is next on Trojans Live.